Keith Myers here again. This is kind of like an introduction part 2. Before we get into the lessons, you really have an idea what equipment is going to be used and what you're going to need, especially if you're coming from a Wing Chun background and maybe you didn't have a lot of equipment because you didn't do much heavy contact. If you're going to take a Wing Chun boxing approach, you're going to be making contact and you got to have good equipment. First and foremost, number one thing to get if you got a partner and you're going to start training this, focus mitts. If all you've been doing is Wing Chun forms and Chi Sao, you probably haven't been training any realistic contact. And to start putting together punching combinations with realistic contact, you need focus pads. Most of my stuff I get from TitleBoxing.com because they have a wide range available. Everything from high-end leather gear that you'd see in a professional boxing gym down to these, which is what they call their classic line. And they're relatively inexpensive. They come in a pair. So this would be purchase number 1 to get you started, and then you can start working punches with your partner. Title also has in their classic line good pair of inexpensive boxing gloves. You're going to need these eventually as you start mixing it up and doing paired drills and to start talking about more realistic contact. You can get a pair of MMA gloves, but again, even MMA fighters, when they're sparring, use boxing gloves. A little more cushioning, a little better things to do. Now, the Wing Chun guys amongst you are saying, you can't do Wing Chun techniques with boxing gloves on. Yes, you can, and you'll be seeing that as we go. So this would probably be purchase number 2, along with a good mouth guard, or what my British friends call a gum shield. Because even making light contact, you don't want to jar somebody, so you should always have in a mouth guard if you're using the boxing gloves. As you ramp up the contact, you're going to want one of these. Because again, nobody likes to get smacked in the face. And when you're training with your partners, some people just have a kind of a killer instinct and they'll go at it. But some people are kind of soft-hearted and they're afraid of hurting their partner. And so this just gives both fighters, both partners that are training, a little insurance and more confidence that they're not going to be hurting each other. So I'd still recommend, as you're mixing it up and the contact gets heavier, you're wearing good boxing gloves, mouthpiece, head guard. You're going to want one of these. If nothing else, hold it here so your partner can dig in some really good solid shovel hooks and body shots and really train them well on a piece like this. Okay? We're also going to be doing kicks at some point, not high taekwondo-ish kicks, but low line kicks from Wing Chun and some that blend and are just a kind of the low line version of the high line punches. Jab kick, cross kick, round kick. You're going to want one of these to practice those on. Speaking of kicks, probably going to want some of these. And this is not to protect the kicker, it's to protect the defender, right? Because as we start learning gansaos and gomsaos and kick defenses in a boxing context, you want to make some realistic contact. And when you have your partner wearing these, and maybe even the defender wearing some forearm guards, then you can really make sure you're getting in good defenses against real kicks. This may be a good idea, optional, plus minus. I mean, when you're sparring and working with your partner, you're wearing the boxing gloves. You shouldn't be trying to kill each other. You shouldn't be trying to take each other out. But wearing this you're a trainer wearing the focus gloves on each hand and wearing the body protector. That way when you can work punches, fast combinations, jab, cross, body shot. And this can be the pad for the body shot outside of any actual sparring. We also train the long pole, the Tang Yik family Luk Din Bung Kwan. And going to work into some sparring with that. So most of the shots go to the torso with the pole thrust. So you definitely don't want we want one of this for that kind of training. This is my buddy Bob. The rest of Bob, the lower portion, is outside. They don't have room in here. But I work with Bob all the time when I don't have any other training partner around, and he never complains. So traditionally, boxing has heavy bags. I don't have a setup where we train. We train outside most of the time, not in an actual boxing gym. Don't have a place in my house with girder enough to hang a heavy bag. Heavy bags are great. I wish I had one. But in the absence of a heavy bag, something like this works perfect, because it also gives you that sense of targeting the ribs, the solar plexus, the chin, the temple. You can really move all the way around that pillar that he's sitting on, and even do illegal shots to the kidneys, because after all, we're talking martial art, not sport. So, really good thing to have an extra training partner. Wing Chun dummy, of course. Depending on if you're a Wing Chun guy, you might have one or at least have access to one. It's kind of expensive to run out and buy if you don't. But Wing Chun dummy is kind of Wing Chun's sophisticated equivalent of a heavy bag. Not that you're going to slam this thing as hard as you can, but the arms on the Wing Chun dummy really give you a sense of defending different lines and angles, and you can move around and hit the dummy. We'll be covering this in later lessons, but be aware that even in a Wing Chun boxing, the dummy is going to play a large part in some of the training. Thank you.